Yeah. And did you get a chance to take a look at your website analytics to see if anybody actually headed over to your website from YouTube? I know you got a few comments.
Um, so yes, there have been people who have contacted me because I have a website, www.apanthersister.com, and on that website, there's a form where people can actually contact me in private. In fact, that's where I got my marriage proposal. Catara, it was, Brother Love went over to my, website and told me how much I needed him. So there are people who want, I guess, further information or just want to touch base with me to just touch base with me. They will come to my website. And I can say this, my books are selling. Not a lot, but they're steadily selling.
Yep. And I have no doubt that you'll even probably be receiving speaking engagements in there soon in your inbox, just because it's something that
Oh,
you already
oh,
do.
yes, yeah. In fact, I've gotten let me see, one, two, three. I've gotten two, well, Black History Month, I'm normally busy anyway, but one of those Black History Month engagements came from my YouTube series.
Well,
And in fact, I got another one. Well, this is a podcast. Yeah, a podcast. No, I got two this month that have come from the series.
wow. Anything
Yes.
else come from this series that I don't know about?
Yes. 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 Yep.
That is
And
so
because
exciting.
the people let me know straight up how they found out about me, okay? And then they knew a person that knew me or whatever, and then they, contacted me through my website.
Wow, and I cannot stress this enough that you have only been on the platform for about a month and a half, and all of this stuff
That's
has
right, that's
happened.
it.
Today, we're going to be talking about how Dr. Regina, an absolute powerhouse, got these results only being on YouTube for about a month and a half, working one to one with me. Now, this was a very real, authentic, honest conversation, and she really spilled sort of like all of her feelings and the process that we went through. So, if you can relate to anything that she is saying, go ahead and comment it down below. So, let people know who you are and what it is that you do.
My name is Dr. Regina Jennings, and I'm most known for being an original member of the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense in Oakland, California. And I am an author, a poet, a spoken word artist, and I have written on my experience in the Black Panther Party for self-defense because in this current generation, I have noticed that they know very little about an organization that was in fact organized to help and support Black people in their fight against racism and tyranny in America.
Okay, so why did you want to get started on YouTube?
I wanted to get started on YouTube primarily because I wanted to reach an audience that might not necessarily be in a college or university where I've spent more than 30 years teaching. I wanted to come out of that bubble also because, well, I'll just be truthful about it. I haven't had as much success in the university setting as I would have liked to have had. And that has to do with the political context of how I teach and what I teach. So I wanted to make sure that I moved my teaching outside of a university and to also make sure that I reach these other groups of people. I've written books that I'm very serious about because my books are so unique. You will not find other books like mine except maybe several by my other Panther sisters and brothers. My books, beginning with Panther Poems, Poetry of a Sister Panther, it actually tells my story of how I joined and why I joined the Black Panther Party. And it also gives some of the slogans and songs that we used to sing as members of the Black Panther Party for self-defense.
Yeah. So, what were some hesitations or sort of like hurdles that you encountered, like getting onto YouTube?
Catara, it was so many. In fact, let me just be real clear. I'm still learning about being on YouTube and staying on YouTube. So, I still feel like I'm a work in progress. First of all, without you, I don't think I would be on YouTube. And I mean that sincerely. I had no idea. It was something I wanted to do. And I just kind of thought I could just get on YouTube. I don't know. I thought maybe I could record and just get on YouTube. I just had no idea all of the practices that's involved in being on YouTube. So this was like my work with you was like going to school. And I mean that sincerely. It from the first time when you sent me, I guess it was a Google Doc, a
It's an
worksheet
Excel sheet.
to what?
It was an Excel
The
sheet.
Excel sheet, okay, to force me, and it did force me to really look at, okay, what are you going to do on YouTube? Like it was prior to that, it was a thought, somewhat of a dream, but I hadn't actually sat down and said, well, I'm gonna do this, 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 and this. And the Excel sheet, you say, that forced me to, okay, what are you going to do on YouTube? And why are you doing it? And how are you going to do it? So when I put that together, it gave me, I guess, direction. Okay. It made the notion of being on YouTube more serious. Okay, it was no longer theory, it was no longer fantasy, it was no longer a dream. It I was like, okay, this is actually what I want to say. This is actually what I think I could do on
Yeah.
YouTube.
So, what was the plan originally that we started with, and what was the plan that we actually, ended up going through with in terms of like recording and filming and stuff like that?
Well, first of all, I didn't realize it would require this much work. I really have to emphasize that. I thought you know, I would just get on. So when I realized some of the hard work that was involved in getting to YouTube, it even made me become more serious. Now, I was always serious, but I just didn't know all that was involved. Okay, and I had assumptions about YouTube that working with you just burst them, okay, and made me really like in a professional way and even a chronological way look at, okay, well, are you going to be on YouTube every day? Absolutely not. That would kill me. you know 3 days a week? No, no, no. How about two? It just made me look at what I can seriously do on YouTube to fulfill my dream of being on YouTube in a way that was conducive to my lifestyle. So I didn't even know what I was going to call my program. I really wasn't exactly sure what I was going to do on my program. It wasn't until I think, God, I'd been working with you maybe several months before things started to gel, kind of concretize, where
Yeah.
I said, okay,
I think
I'm
first
going
we
to
went over
actually,
strategy, and then we did strategy and then we were like, okay, we're gonna get the filming like month 2 or 3. So we were filming and then I'm like, okay, we gotta set up the thumbnails. And I'm like, okay, wait, hold up. We have to do editing as well. And then I even came over because she's close to me, or I was near where she was. So I came over, gave her an editing tutorial, and eventually she was like, okay, I'm gonna start in this month. And she's like, okay, scratch this. We're not doing this. I have just decided I think I want to go live at like the last minute. And I was like, you know what? I think that's like a really good idea.
Hmm. I remember that. And I at the time I wasn't even sure if I had a title for my YouTube series. Okay, but it came. It came. Now, the editing part, oh my Lord, oh, I
Yeah.
still shudder thinking about your lessons on editing. Okay. Even when I looked at your YouTube editing processes, when I wasn't even dealing with you one on one, I was like, oh, uh, uh, oh. That's when too I realized I really started to lean on you, and recognize how significant I was already leaning on you, but I leaned further. I'll put it like that. Because by then I realized much more of what it took to put on a YouTube channel. Okay. So, and as you might remember, I mean, we did test after test after test and little test. Oh, okay. Um, but here I am. Here
Yeah.
I am.
And we
And
went
I'm very
forward with
pleased.
like live streaming. So how do you feel about live streaming as opposed to like editing?
Okay. Let me tell you, I would rather live stream mistakes and all. And have I made them? I just made one yesterday. Okay. Um, but I like the live stream. To to edit is very problematic for me right now. Now, maybe in the future, I might change once I get used to doing this series. Maybe that'll change. But right now, the thought of editing, no, no way, no how. If I really felt right now, if I really felt I needed one of my episodes or more to be edited, I would just turn it over to Catara. I would not do it. That would just, no, that's a whole nother skill set that I don't have and I'm not ready for it. So with the live stream, mistakes and all, and I've made them, I'm more comfortable with that.
Yeah, and I mean that's normal. And I actually think that your personality and all is like it's very suited for live streaming. People get to see you live, they get to see you in person. So like, yeah, let's talk about some of the results from the live streaming. And we have not been on YouTube for that long with you. It's only been about a month and a half. Can you talk about some
That's
of the
right.
like results and
Yes,
like
yes.
the community you've been able to
Well,
build? Go ahead.
I'm still trying to figure this out. I swear, Katera, I'm still trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
How in the world did I get 1,000 views on one of my videos? Okay, actually was over 1,000. Then the next video, I think it went to 50. Now, I do want to say this. I wouldn't care if I was just getting 20 people because these videos that I make, these are not comedies. Okay. I'm not a songstress. I have nothing against song. People sing. I don't dance. All right. I'm not playing cards. My videos are historical and they are to teach history to my viewers. Okay. I actually read selected books to people that are full of histories that you may not know. So my series is rather serious. Okay. So, um, the numbers really did not matter to me, but when I saw 1,000 one day, then 50 the next, it I didn't know, I still don't know what to think of that. But I have to say, I'm just happy that people are actually watching, all right, and they are making comments, and hopefully I will learn how to bring those comments up so that
We'll
other
bring it back.
people can see the comments too.
Yeah, so she's using StreamYard. So she's still learning how to like, work the program and stuff like that, which is fine. But she has like engaged viewers. She has like a couple of people who like come back multiple times a week and she live streams twice a week. So she's having people like come back and she, actually making a pretty good impact already, and she just started a month ago. She has people commenting that they're reading the books along with her, going to the library. Do y'all know how hard it is to get people to the library? Like,
That's right, and I feel so good about that because that's the purpose. And um, in my videos, I encourage people to let their children watch them too. I mean, these are videos that from 9 to 90 people can watch because they are historical, they are truthful, they're from our ancestors, and the knowledge in them, okay, will let you know the truth of our past in the Americas. And when you know the history of your story, it helps you to make good choices in the present time. This is what I'm going for as well.
yeah. So, are there any unexpected benefits or takeaways from working with me?
The unexpected benefits have really been the love. I that's I am so and I think I told you I got a marriage proposal. Now, of course, the brother had three other wives too, but what can I tell you? Um, I mean, that is funny, but that is the truth, y'all, really. So the love that I have experienced from people, the comments that come in and they say, this was so inspiring. Oh, I learned so much from you. Oh, your voice makes me go back into the past and it makes me remember. That's just been fantastic. That has just been fantastic. And one of the viewers, her name is Julia Wright. She's in Paris, and she's the daughter of a very famous African American writer, Richard Wright. And when I saw that she was on giving me, I was floored. I mean, I could. This is a very prominent woman internationally, and that just really made me feel good. It really made me feel like I'm on point with something. And it's also helping me to plan for the next 6 months what it is, what books I'm going to choose, the sections that I'm going to read. The responses have just led me to really put together a timeline and a chronology of what it is I want to present to my viewers.
Yeah, and we mentioned that Regina was also like a professor at one point. So, how did you sort of like take what you learned from being a professor and applied it to YouTube? Because I know there was a few ways with the thumbnails, the titling, and like how you do your presentation. So let's talk about that.
Those thumbnails have driven me nuts. Okay, you have to. First of all, don't ask me what this means, but I could not. What is a thumbnail? First of all, I'd never heard that term before in life. Um, I thought, okay, you make a picture. All right, I got that part. By the way, I didn't know how to make a selfie either. So, but that's another story. Katara has showed me
I'm
how.
gonna show you how to make a
Anyway,
selfie.
I did not know how to make a. Yes. Now, I thought, okay, I'll make a thumbnail. One, I'll hold up the book, and that's my thumbnail. It's done. When Katara said, well, you have to make a thumbnail for every video, what? That just blew my mind. I have to make one for every, because I come on twice a week, readings with Regina, twice a week. So that means I have to do two thumbnails every week? That was very unexpected, okay? Then I had to, because I'm an elder, I had to learn how to take a picture on my phone. I did know how to take a picture. I don't want y'all to think I didn't know how to take it. I did not take a picture. But I didn't know how to take a selfie. And I doggone sure didn't know how to take a selfie holding a book. So I was just at a loss. Then Catara tells me the equipment I had to get. Then I got upset. What? I have to spend money? What?
More
So
money.
after I after I calmed myself down, she sent me pictures of what I needed to get. Oh, so I started practice. I'm getting much better now, Katira.
Yeah,
I
you're
want
looking
you to
real
know,
nice.
girl. I'm like, okay. I'm even cropping and editing. So
Wow,
yes,
I'm so proud.
yes, I am cropping and editing. Okay. So that too, again, was a learning process that I would not have been able to have mastered if it wasn't for Katara Lane and her services. I mean, that was so out of my league. However, I have discovered that those thumbnails really do mean a lot. Oh, they do. I didn't, because I honestly, when you first that first week or so, or first 2 weeks, I was like, why can't I just use the same picture? I'm reading this
It
one
gets
book.
people
Why
to
can't
click
I?
on the videos and gets them interested in the content, you know? And you've had a viral video. So obviously your thumbnails and your titles are working. She titles them just as though she was titling was it a class? A lecture?
That's right. That's when I really, okay, I looked at this, okay, I guess, okay. I don't want to say that I wasn't looking at my video series, Readings with Regina, unprofessionally or unseriously. I don't want to say that. But with the thumbnails, right? And the form that you have to fill out on StreamYard for every video, I really fell back on my professorial days, really, with planning how I would do a syllabus, or I was going to do a lecture on this Tuesday and another lecture on this Thursday, whatever. It forced me to go even another step forward in being professional with my series. Okay? Because I had to look at, okay, first of all, I had to do the thumbnail. You don't know how many thumbnails that I deleted, delete, until I got it just like I liked it. And because I had to fill out the form on StreamYard, giving a description and all this sort of thing, I was encouraged then to really think, okay, what are you going to read and what are you going to talk about? And that's just like how I performed and carried on when I was in a college setting or university setting. I mean, you don't just walk into a college room full of 30 students and, play games. I mean, you have to have your lecture notes with you, anticipate questions, answer those questions, all in a classroom setting. And the way that my videos are stacking up, it is somewhat becoming like that, except, of course, I didn't know how to bring the comments to the public. So, but I'm going to be able to do that next time around. But basically, what I'm really saying is that what I do on YouTube with my series, Readings with Regina, is similar in many ways to what I actually did in a classroom setting with live people. And that too makes me quite happy because one of the reasons that I even created this series is because I want to raise the intellectual level of my listeners, of my people, okay, by selecting literature that they may not on their own ordinarily know about or select.
Yeah. And did you get a chance to take a look at your website analytics to see if anybody actually headed over to your website from YouTube? I know you got a few comments.
Um, So, yes, there have been people who have contacted me because I have a website, www.apanthersister.com. And on that website, there's a form where people can actually contact me in private. In fact, that's where I got my marriage proposal. Catara, it was, Brother Love went over to my, website and told me how much I needed him. So there are people who want, I guess, further information or just want to touch base with me to just touch base with me. They will come to my website. And I can say this, my books are selling. Not a lot, but they're steadily selling.
Yep, and I have no doubt that you'll even probably be receiving speaking engagements in there soon in your inbox, just because it's something that you
Oh,
already
oh,
do.
yes, yeah. In fact, I've gotten let me see, one, two, three. I've gotten two, well, Black History Month, I'm normally busy anyway, but one of those Black History Month engagements came from my YouTube series.
Well,
And in fact, I got another one. Well, this is a podcast. Yeah, a podcast. No, I got two this month that have come from the series.
wow, anything
Yes.
else come from this series that I don't know about?
Yes. 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 Yeah.
That is
And because the people let me know straight up how they found out about me, okay? And then they knew a person that knew me or whatever, and then they, contacted me through my website.
wow, and I cannot stress this enough that you have only been on the platform for about a month and a half, and all of this stuff
That's
has
right, that's
happened.
it.
Wow.
That's right. So I really see great things ahead. I really do. I feel very good about the time in. I'm excited
I'm excited.
about what I'm doing because people are being excited listening to me.
Yeah, I'm so excited for your channel and stuff. Okay, so last question, and that is, what would you say to anyone who is on the fence about working with me?
Oh my God, get off the fence. I don't want to say, I have a terrible personality. I wanted to say, get off the fence, fool. No, but I'm not going to say that because you're not foolish. Um, to get an in-depth learning of going on YouTube, you need help. I mean, it's almost like I'm a doctor. I have a PhD, I have a master's, I have a baccalaureate. Look, I could not have worked in a college and university setting without these degrees. Now, if I had just settled for the baccalaureate, which is cool, that's fine, nothing wrong with it. I would make less money than me going ahead to get the master's. Once I got the master's, I was like, oh, and I actually looked at the pay scale of a master's and a PhD. I said, well, I may as well sail on to the PhD because by the time I had gotten the baccalaureate and a master's, I knew the university. I knew what was expected. I knew what professors expected. Now, had I not had their help, that's what I'm getting at. Readings with Regina wouldn't exist. Dr. Regina Jennings would not exist. Okay. And the book writer would not necessarily exist because when you go to school, as you know, Katera, you got to write. I mean, you just got to write papers, you got to do, oh, it's terrible. But what it did, it got me into the rhythm of writing so that when I had to write a book, now I ain't going to say it was easy, but it was doable. It was absolutely doable. So instead of trying to do things on your own, I think, and I'm saying that you can't do things on your own, but if you want to learn a skill within a timely fashion, then you need somebody to teach you. Okay. And Katera is very talented. She knows what she's doing. She has the patience of Job. Okay, because I have gone nuts with this girl. Okay. And she's been just as patient and sweet, and it's really been nice. But the main thing is this: if you want to get on YouTube, if you want to do videos, if you want to edit those videos, if you want to learn about all the different styles of making videos, okay, then you need somebody to help you. And she's right here, okay? And this girl, I honestly thought before I started working with Catara that the only people who could do remote going into your computer were like, the Geek Squad at Best Buy. But it's no, I was thrown, stunned when she said, "Well, I can go into your laptop."
Oh yeah, we've
I,
been
I,
doing over Zoom. I
I, I
took
was
it to the
stunned. I was
computer.
really, I was like, you know how to do. So, because when I was getting stuck with things and couldn't explain well what I was stuck on, this girl could come into my computer and figure it out and get me going again. So you need to save time, to save sweat equity. I mean, to just save trying to do things on your own because it's a lot to learn. That's not, it's not an easy thing. It's certainly doable. You see all the people on YouTube. But to have an instructor is just going to help you better in the long run, especially an instructor that is up on all of the, I guess they're called apps and things that you could get to make your dream of going on YouTube a reality.
Yeah, well, it's been a joy working with you. You just bring so much joy to my days. Yeah, it's
You.
fun.
And look, me and Katara still work. I can still get with her and ask a question because I just asked her a question yesterday about those comments that I didn't know why they didn't come up. Because I hadn't pushed the right button. So this would be a relationship I think that would be ongoing, and it's satisfying because she's there. Okay, so it's not like you're going around in the dark or having to do extra reading or work and guesswork. No, you have a coach right there that you could text or email, whatever, so that you can find out what it is that you need to know to get to the next step in your technological learning.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on and answering all of these questions. Wow. She's just so inspiring. And also, I talked to her a little bit after the call, and she actually revealed that she got 3 talking gigs from her YouTube channel. And then again, can't stress this enough. She's only been on YouTube for about a month and a half. And then on top of that, she also revealed that she is actually in retirement. And then I mentioned, I was like, well, I think YouTube is definitely it's gonna bring you out of retirement if you keep going at the pace that you're going. Now, you heard what she said, would you rather go in months not knowing what you're doing, having to figure it out all by yourself, or would you rather have help with your YouTube goals? If you'd rather have help, then go ahead and head down to the link in the description box to book a call with me.